G'day guys, Aussie Bloke here. Hope you're all doing well. So over the last few episodes, we've been looking at indirect pronouns. I just wanted to shift our focus to something different today. Just wanted to look at a very important verb in Spanish, and that is to be. So the two verbs for to be that we're going to be focusing on today are estar and ser. So the verb estar is basically when you're talking about something that's a non-permanent characteristic. So for example, if you wanted to ask how someone is, then that's generally going to be talking about their state of being, which is generally speaking going to be a non-permanent characteristic. It's like how you're feeling then in that moment. And the verb ser is used when you're defining the permanent characteristics of someone. So it might be when you're talking about a job, an ethnicity, which country they're from, something like that. But anyway, we'll just focus on the verb estar for now, and we'll come back to ser in just a moment. So I'll just quickly run through what the verb estar is, or how that changes when you're talking about various people and using various pronouns. So for example, if you want to say you are talking to someone one-on-one, a friend, then you are is estás. Estas, E-S-T-A-S, and there's an accent above the A, meaning you put a bit more stress on it. If you're talking about a group of people, like they are, then that's están, E-S-T-A-N, and again, there's an accent above the A. If you're talking about they are, he, she, or it, singular, then that's está, E-S-T-A, and again, with an accent above the A. If you're talking about we are, then that's estamos. Or if you want to say I am, that's a little bit different, and that's estoy, E-S-T-O-Y, estoy. And now for the examples, there is one more word we'll need for these, and that's the word for how, which in Spanish is como, C-O-M-O, with an accent above the first O. And I'm sure many of you already know how to say this, but if you were speaking to someone one-on-one, a friend, how would you say, how are you? ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás? So generally, obviously, when you're asking a question, it's just the same as you do in English. You're just going to add a bit of an inflection to it, just to basically say that you're asking a question. And if you wanted to say, how are they? How would you say that? ¿Cómo están? ¿Cómo están? And if you wanted to say, how is he, she, or it, the entity, how would you say that? ¿Cómo está? ¿Cómo está? And now for the next few examples, still focusing on the verb estar, there are a few more words that we'll need, and they are as follows. We'll need the word for happy, which in Spanish is feliz, feliz. We'll also need the word for sad, which is triste, triste. We'll need the word for well, which is bien, bien. And we'll need the word for but, which is pero, pero. So having said all that, if you wanted to say I am happy, how would you say that? Estoy feliz. Estoy feliz. Now, when you're talking about someone that's happy, feliz, and you're now talking about multiple people, then the word for feliz changes to the plural, which is felices. Felices. So now with that in mind, if you want to say they are happy, how would you say that? Están felices. Están felices. And if you want to say we are happy, estamos felices. Estamos felices. And if you wanted to say I am well, how would you say that? Estoy bien. Estoy bien. And I am not well, no estoy bien. No estoy bien. And now let's say you wanted to say I am well, but they are sad. So just quickly with that one, forgot to mention this earlier. So if one person is sad, then they are triste, está triste. And if you're talking about multiple people, then you need the plural for triste, which is tristes, just with an S on the end of it. So now, having said that, if you wanted to say, I am well, but they are sad, how would you say that? Estoy bien, pero están tristes. Estoy bien, pero están tristes. And for this last example, we'll need the word for and, which in Spanish is just y, which is just the letter Y, or in Spanish the letters Y. So with that in mind, if you wanted to say you are well and we are happy, how would you say that? Estás bien y estamos felices. Estás bien y estamos felices. Now shifting our focus to the other to be or ser. I'll just quickly run through what those are with the various pronouns. So we are is somos, S-O-M-O-S, somos. They are is son, S-O-N, son. He, she, it, the entity is S, is E-S, S. I am is soy, S-O-Y, soy. And if you want to say you are, you might think that given the other patterns we've been looking at, then that would be sos. And if you're in Argentina or Uruguay, that is correct. That's exactly how they say you are there. However, throughout most other parts of South America and Spain, it's different. And this is the most widely used version of it. And you are is eres, E-R-E-S, eres. And just a reminder, as I mentioned earlier, that when we're using the verb ser, you're talking about a permanent characteristic of something or someone. So for the next few examples, we'll be focusing on jobs or careers, which when you're referring to the career or a job of someone, it's generally a permanent characteristic. So you use the verb ser. So for these examples, we'll need the words for the following jobs. So we'll need the word for lawyer, which in Spanish is abogado or abogada if it's a female. We'll need the word for dentist, which is an easy one, dentista, and that's the same if the dentist's male or female. And we'll need the word for teacher, which is maestro or maestra. Another point I need to mention is that when you're talking to or about anyone and you want to say you're a lawyer, the word a, you don't use that. You just say you're lawyer, basically. So, for example, if you want to say you're a lawyer, then that's just eres abogado. Or if you wanted to say we're lawyers, then that would be somos abogados. So having said all that, if you wanted to say I am a teacher, how would you say that? Soy maestro. Soy maestro. And if you want to say she is a teacher, es maestra. Es maestra, or ella es maestra. And if you want to say they are lawyers, son abogados. Son abogados. And what about we are dentists? Somos dentistas. Somos dentistas. And if you want to say we are not teachers, we are dentists. No somos maestros, somos dentistas. No somos maestros, somos dentistas. If you wanted to say they are lawyers, but we are teachers, son abogados, pero somos maestros. Son abogados, pero somos maestros. And if you wanted to say we are lawyers and you are a teacher, somos abogados y eres maestro. Somos abogados y eres maestro. And if you wanted to say you are not a teacher and we are not lawyers, no eres maestro y no somos abogados. No eres maestro y no somos abogados. Anyway, guys, that's all I've got for you today. Hope that all made sense. As I've mentioned on these episodes, if there are any parts there where you are having any issues, that's completely normal. And I would recommend that you just give any parts you are having any problems with another quick listen, just to make sure that you get it all down. All right, cheers, guys. We'll see you on the next one.